welcome to this stream today where we're casting the Apex Legends OESL State Championship Final. We're going to be playing 5 games, and the highest points out of the 5 games will be the state champions, and it will be a whole point reset here on this. So be ready for that. And they're in now. Looting has commenced.
We have 10 teams here today. We have Noble, Northwest Classen, Deer Creek, U.S. Grant, Jenks, Vanoss, Bing, Moore, Holdenville, and Owasso. Each one had to go through an entire regular season and then a various little playoff season in order to make it to this in-person state finals. We're so excited to be able to have these at the UCO Co-op this year. Thank you so much to UCO for hosting OESL and allowing us to capture today's events.
Yes, it is going to be. I'm going to be distracted half the time. But yeah, there we go, because I'm running the stream while we're casting it. But here we go. They're all dropped in, pretty well spread out. A few teams got some pretty good loot spots. It looks like actually Deer Creek landed in a pretty good purple zone there, and potentially also U.S. Grant in a good loot zone. But
that's interesting because U.S. Grant and Deer Creek both have had to be pretty scrappy to get into this this tournament today. Although Deer Creek kind of started out as one of the better teams after the season change, they struggled a little bit with the support nerfs that came out. And U.S. Grant was pretty scrappy too. They have a young team trying to learn how this whole thing goes. But in person can kind of just throw all that out. And sometimes things happen whenever they are, you kind of have these random spots. But it looks like Deer Creek is kind of coming close to another team here.
Yeah, we've got them on the action now. Looks like this is Noble. Deer Creek and Noble potentially in an early bout. We'll see if it actually comes to light here.
Noble being the heavy favorites for this particular in-state tournament. In their last playoff game, they managed to get 69 points, which is pretty impressive in a lobby with only 8. Right now, they seem to be avoiding each other, but perhaps they'll come into contact with each other soon.
Yeah, they have not noticed each other yet, so they're still the 2 closest teams together right now. Yeah, Noble in the regular season was about 100 points ahead, but in the playoffs so far, Jinx has really closed in on them. So now we have that encounter happening.
Meanwhile, there's another 2 teams that seem to be coming close to each other, although these actually 2 have noticed each other. Yeah. Looks like one of the Noble members is down at the moment.
Flowers is already down. So Deer Creek has the advantage in this right now.
If Deer Creek can hang on and make this happen, then that would be a huge win for the rest of the team, as Noble really are the heavy favorites. However, Flowers is brought back up by a teammate playing Lifeline. Lifeline, one of the better supports right now, able to mobile revive her teammates and just do healing on the fly.
Yeah, it looks like the player got revived, and now Screaming Capybara was doing some damage. And now Snowa, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Snowa's shield being taken down. Also Splat King, Jebmos as well. Looks like Deer Creek's in a little bit of trouble here. Splat King being down at the moment. Jebmos trying to get out. Jebmos known for taking some more support characters at the time, but seems to like to get out of those situations. Hopefully they can get their teammate out and running as well.
Apologies for showing you the start screen for half an hour. Now we're going to be 3 minutes behind. There we go. We'll get that game up there for you. Apologies for that. All right. So, back to where we were.
Looks like Noble and Deer Creek are away from each other at the moment, but there is quite a scrabble going on, or a scrappy battle going on. There's 2 at the moment. One happening at the command center with 2 different teams. Looks like one team might have just been taken out.
Northwest Classen looks like their best player, Dom, is down right now, but he's getting revived, so it may have been them that got in the encounter with possibly Jinx.
3 teams down though near the launch this launch pads.
Looks like Owasso is down to 1 player.
More headed out from that. Almost going to run into Noble because he's headed that way. Looks like they've stopped in order to supply up, but 2 different teams next to each other at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Bing diving on Owasso over here, trying to finish them off. Looks like
perhaps with a raid they'll be able to get out, but 2 recovery banners. That means that we might have a team get eliminated here. Being also a pretty good team at the moment, went to losers bracket for a little while, but was able to pull themselves out of it really heavily. Came out of that with great points and looks like they're looking to take out Owasso's team right now, but Night Fury might just make it out by the skin of his teeth. And it looks like they are kind of away from each other at the moment. If Night Fury can get a recovery for those 2 members as the ring closes in here, then it'll be kind of almost a reset. Of course, they won't have the weapons that they would normally have or wouldn't have at the time, but it'll be good for them.
Looks like they are getting the recovery off here.
I say we move there. Survey beacon here.
So yeah, they're respawning back in.
One team seeming to be kind of away from everyone at the moment. However,
Holding kind of out there on the edge so they don't get caught in the
yeah, they seem to. They need to perhaps watch the ring. But however, the next ring that gets set up is right exactly where they are. What a branch of luck for them.
Oh yeah.
They don't even have to travel far this time. Looks like the 2 that were hitting each other, Bing and Moore.
Yeah. Head over to them.
They are kind of close to each other, but also kind of close to the edge, so they might be forced together at the moment. Of course, there is.
It's Bing and Owasso.
Oh, Bing and Owasso, yeah.
Owasso is looking like they are getting looted back up and getting back to full strength, so they are still in this thing. We do have 8 squads left, so we have, looks like Deer Creek and Vanoss eliminated so far. And we've got our teams just kind of spread out a little bit right now.
Yeah, Storm Point is one of the bigger maps, so it was created in a way that allowed people to kind of go around each other. Perhaps.
Yeah, I had it for the walls. Yeah, it's up now. That's the
perhaps that's one of the reasons why we don't see any. But now we seem to have a little scrap going on down here between possibly 3 different teams. One of them possibly being Noble here. Moore, and can't quite get the other team at the moment.
Okay. Apologies. Okay. Looks like Noble's getting into it again. I will say one thing I noticed. It seems like the meta right now is more aggressive play style. And what I noticed is the times that Noble has finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th in the, even 5th a few times in some of these games, they were a little bit more passive. But I know the last game of the last upper bracket semifinal to get to this game, Noble just immediately dove on every team. So here we have a little bit of action between Jinx. So it's the top 2 teams right now that are battling it out. So this will potentially kind of determine who's going to come out of this on top in this one, kind of early on here in this map.
Both teams have been very consistent throughout the entire season. Both Noble and Jinx dealing with the transitions very well between the support style and assault style, which favors the more aggressive legends. So we'll have to see who has the correct weapons and know-how and strategy to battle this one out. Looks like Heavenly's taking quite a bit of damage here.
It looks like Noble has the advantage right now. Still 2 purple on the armor, where Jinx is losing it heavy. We'll see if Jinx tries to live to fight another day, or if they keep in this.
Meanwhile, there's another kind of battle going on close to the edge of the ring between 2 to 3 teams.
Yeah.
I'm going there. Listen, let's go that way.
Trying to get to him here. Okay, looks like Bing's involved in that. Yearly Toast is just about toast. Blah is out, so they're down 1 player.
Draco trying to really keep everything together. That's one out.
Yeah.
Needs to recover that banner there, but with Owasso having the advantage here, they'll definitely be able to bring their guy back. But with the ring closing, there's quite a bit of pressure here to make sure that everything comes together in for them. I would imagine that Moore is just eliminated at this point with the fact that the ring is closing.
Replicator there. Those who
Those
hesitate
two
to
teams
use
out.
it will fall.
We have eight squads left.
All the
Being
teams,
is on the verge.
yeah, all the teams being forced together at the moment as the ring converges to be quite small. 8 teams being put in this small area is going to cause quite a few scraps.
Well, I lost that one. Let's go back to Jinx as they're trying to push on someone. Alright, here we go. Alright, so still they're covered up here, so can't tell exactly who they're pushing. We'll go,
Deathlock's there.
most likely Being. They might be hunting down Being. Being and Owasso, they seem to all be really close to each other right now.
Moving that way.
Yeah, we're on Holdenville now.
Enemy
Holdenville
Don't
is
let them slip away.
coming up on.
They're not exactly in the best position at the moment in order to team fight together. So if they could have a pretty decent fight here. However, at this point they're being surrounded. Holdenville being able to surround more.
Holdenville in a really good position. They are maxed out just about. At least one of them's at max level, and they all have purple armor. Back to Holdenville. One down now, but
One squad just surviving with just one player at the moment. Just holding on by the edge of it. Nice Fury holding on to the entire team here.
yeah, I think he's gonna try to get him back here. Meantime, more Northwest Classic has been battling him out. Northwest Classic played the last game really passive because they're without their top player Dom. But it looks like they're being a little bit more aggressive here, but they just get eliminated by Moore.
However, at that moment, Moore comes across the other teams because of the fact that they just had another fight. They might be in a slightly off position. However, they do seem to escape across. One team though on the outer edge will have to come around. When they do, they'll run into Moore as well.
Yeah, right now it's Moore and Noble battling it out.
Noble has Capybaras right in there with Flowers. Capybaras all by himself at the moment.
Gain the advantage of retaking this. It looks like Moore might eliminate. Momentum's the only one left.
Flowers goes down.
Yeah. So it looks like both are down. Momentum escapes. So he will get.
Yes,
If there's any,
if
if there's any player that could take out a whole team, it's Momentum. But this is going to be a tough ask of him right now. He's going to have to try to get these banners and see if he can bring them back in.
Meanwhile, 2 teams going at it as well. Actually, 2 different areas at the moment going at it. Moore and no.
Yeah, it's still Moore and Noble, still in the same area, and it's Being.
And Bing.
And it's Being and Holdenville.
Trying to take each other out at the moment.
So Holdenville has the upper hand again.
6 teams left, looks like, in the ring at the moment. I would imagine either Holdenville or Bing is out soon. Knife Fury's still trying to hold it all by himself, and he's trying to get other teams.
Actually, yeah, it looks like Knife Fury got his
he
teammates
did get his team back up,
he got his team back. So
that could be difficult though.
now Knife Fury is gonna be. He's down. See if his teammates. Actually, I don't think he was down, but he was severely damaged. He's getting healed up. see who they're battling exactly.
The fact that they're able to hold on so well after having two of their teammates down is pretty impressive. Momentum trying to also gather up his teammates and make it out of there alive. Lots of fighting going on over there, but looks like Momentum's going to be able to make it out.
It's like he's on the run, yeah.
Also running past Bing, but seeming to kind of thread the needle here as he makes his way towards a recovery beacon, or respawn beacon, where he can bring his teammates back to life.
Holdenville playing the patience game over here. Have someone in sight now. I think they're going to go ahead and start the push.
Three teams very close to each other. Moore, Bing, and Holdenville. We're not sure who will end up in this sort of Mexican standoff here.
Enemy in the distance.
There's definitely going to be a third party situation where which two start fighting, and then will the other team take advantage?
Right here.
Noble's back in the action as well.
Yeah. Revived.
Night Fury goes way outside of the ring and back. Meanwhile, back at Bing versus Holdenville, they both seem to be kind of picking it safe, although Grego seems to be involved in some fighting here, both trying to recover from more. And Bing sort of just decides they're kind of out as they leave the area. We should go to Noble versus
Wasso looks like they are just about out. Night Fury is the only one left standing.
He has been able to keep his team alive in the past. And with four out, 4 teams left. Pretty impressive. They've been able to hold on. Oh,
Looking at closest team is giving me is Noble, so I don't know. It's going to be really tough for. Okay, now Noble and Bing are seem to be really tough. Yeah, Noble's pushing Bing right now.
Well, Night Fury, they just escape in the night like a thief. Momentum has to escape again as his team gets brought down. Unfortunate for Noble that they were in 2 different scraps at the same time.
Yeah, I had that backwards. It's Bing pushing Noble. They take out. They had just come back in, so.
Now Bing's being hit by Holdenville again. Momentum trying to go back in to get his teammates out. He was able to do it once. Can he do it again? That's the question.
Really small sword defense. So really hard to get that going.
He's being pressured quite a bit by.
I believe it was Bing. It's still Bing. Yeah, he's gone back to the advantage with Bing was, and
now all 4 of the teams are pretty much right next to each other. At this point, it's going to be sort of a fight to see who wins. Can Night Fury and Momentum hold out and possibly defend against that? Like Night Fury being eliminated at this point.
So Wasso now also eliminated. 3 squads left.
Momentum tries to hold on, probably trying to rat out at the bottom of somewhere where it can't be seen.
The problem is Bing knows exactly where he is. Let's see if he can get away a little bit here. He has some good movement and escapability with the ult.
Yeah, Wraith is a very mobile character who can get in and out easily. And if he can last out between the fight between Holdenville and Bing, who have been fighting each other
Bing
quite a
doesn't know where he
bit.
is. Bing here, they're trying to push in. So it was a good move there. Really ratting it out is probably what I would do at this point. They're probably, if we look at the stats, they do have 6 points already guaranteed. 5 points for Bing and 4 points for Holdenville. So just getting top 3 and having looks like probably a decent amount of points, highest amount of points of the teams alive right now.
Meanwhile, Holdenville and Bing really fighting it out on top, trying to figure out who's going to be the last ones alive, along with Momentum.
Let's regroup here.
Yearly Toast damage here now. Blog, got a shield at this point. Child support, though, also in a rough spot.
Yeah, child support. It's like, hey, there's names and then there's names.
That's
all right.
Just call them like you see at this point.
Yeah, I got tired of saying P was in B, so I have to put 6 points formula for Momentum. So, yeah.
Momentum's still kind of sticking it out in there. But he's been spotted, I believe.
Yeah, he's finally been spotted, and they're engaging. He's holding him off. Yeah, he's holding them off.
Drago
so we'll
running
see.
out toward the end of the raid and coming back.
We still didn't know where he was. We come up behind him.
Momentum really trying to hang on here.
Yeah.
As
I got him.
Holdenville's the
Holdenville's the
champion.
champion.
Good. Congratulations to Holdenville being the champion. After we assess kills everything, we'll have to be able to assess the points. Stay with us for the next match. The next match will be on a different map. Let me get that map for everyone.
Win-wise, I don't know, because we haven't got to that. That hasn't happened. Understood. But that's usually so much ways. Yeah. I mean, understood.
Next map being Broken Moon.
Okay, do we have the bug? I don't think we have the bug. Alright. We'll be right back. Alright, we are back.
Yeah,
on
welcome to
Broken Moon.
Game 2 of the In-State OESL Championships. We don't have in-game audio at the moment, but we will try to get working on that as soon as we can. Currently, Holdenville is number 1 with 20 points. Noble, number 2 with 15 points. Bing and Northwest Classen are 3 and 4 with 12 points. Moore with 8 points. Owasso with 7. U.S. Grant and Jenks at 3 each. And then Vanoss and Deer Creek also at 2. But teams can go from the bottom to the top in these kinds of matches pretty fast. And points are pretty important. So every match really, really counts. And just because Vanoss is at the bottom, don't count them out for this map. Lots of things different things can happen. So as we start here, looks like teams are pretty well spread out. We shouldn't see a ton of heavy fighting at the moment. We do see the closest teams to each other are probably Deer Creek and Jinx, but they're not even heading in the same direction. The ring being circled around at least 3 different teams, which will not need to go anywhere, but just sort of stay in their current locations and gear up. Broken Moon being an incredibly large map that was has lots of zip rails, lots of good ways to get around. Very vertical map. Allows people to go underneath areas, try to kind of sneak their way past. We'll have to see how teams deal with the size of this map being larger than World's Edge and how important climbing is on this map. You always have to kind of assume that there's another layer to all the different POIs on this map. Kind of allow people to go different places, different routes was one of the whole points behind this map to the developers themselves. As Deer Creek moves out, Jinx seems to move into the spot that Deer Creek was, but like ships passing in the night, they don't see each other quite yet. Perhaps they'll see each other soon. Oh, they may have spotted each other, I'm not sure, but they're kind of far from each other at the moment, so we'll have to kind of watch for that.
Yeah, it looks like Jinx is inside, so I don't think they've spotted each other just yet. But yeah, the Broken Moon will be in rotation twice today, and World's Edge will be in rotation twice today. So Storm Point, that was the only time we're going to see that map today. So I like these maps with the verticality.
Yeah, I think it with World's Edge, with the way that they kind of have things focused around a certain particular point, and that point being the center. Snow, however, kind of behind the rest of his team. Will he get caught out here? I don't think so. Snow being one of the better players on the Deer Creek team, he kind of gets out more easily. And they might run into Vanoss here. we'll have to see. Deer Creek kind of being surrounded at the moment. Jenks kind of heavily, very, very close to them, being also very close. And Vanoss, four teams kind of close to each other at the moment. Not sure if they're aware of each other or not, but they are very, very close. They'll run into each other for sure. Vanoss being already inside the ring for the next round. Oh, we do have two teams that are close to each other, though. One of them is...
Dom is already down on Northwest Classen.
Northwest Classen, yeah.
Yeah, Northwest Classen and U.S. Grant are in a battle right now.
And as you can see, Dom being down, Northwest Classen was the fourth team, and U.S. Grant was much further down. But if they're able to take them out, then U.S. Grant could kind of up in points.
And that's a big hit for Northwest Classen. That's their best player, so...
Northwest Classen does seem to escape with one member of their team, however.
Two.
Oh, two members, yeah,
still
but they're
two
separated on the map quite a bit. So hopefully they can get back together. There's lots of ways around. And the other thing about the Northwest Classen player being, he's still very, very close to, Deer Creek being involved in a very close battle. Hard to see what the other team is at the moment. Snow is down. Jenks finally caught up to them.
So this will be a tough battle for Deer Creek here. Jinx, like I said, is been
solid
one of the
team.
top teams.
Very consistent team. Deer Creek had to be very scrappy to get into this, so this would definitely be kind of a Cinderella story for them if they were able to get through this. Two team members down. Snow, the last one alive. If he can get out, then he might be able to revive his team. They've done it before. We'll have to see if he can make it out. He's still kind of close. However, the recovery beacons are left there, so we'll have to see if he can go back and recover those banners before he's able to leave. Jinx kind of sitting on them. Lots of ways in and out of this one area, though. So he may be able to get out.
Looks like U.S. Grant is fighting. I think it's Noble. Blitz is down, and they're about to take out, it looks like squad eliminated. So U.S. Grant, as of right now, U.S. Grant is the first out.
Which is funny because they had been taking out most of Jinx before. Probably unfortunate they were together. Two teams also very close to each other as well. We have Holdenville, the first team on the list, and Moore as well. Holdenville kind of split at the moment. Night Fury split from the rest of his team. Could be an advantage for Moore. Night Fury gets back together with them. Of course, Snow was able to revive his team. However, at that moment, we had Jinx come back. Will they be able to get out? Looks like they are able to get out. They'll have to up on equipment.
They are right there on. Oh, they're still on top of Deer Creek. It looks like. So.
Yeah, Deer Creek's gonna have to get out. But back in the action with Moore and Holdenville. Very close to them as well, we have Vanoss. Perhaps they'll be in on the action as a third party, but it looks like they'll be able to stay out of it. Deer Creek is kind of separated at the moment as Jinx maybe goes after Snowa. Moore and Holdenville, kind of almost a peace talks at the moment. It looks like they're not hitting at each other. They're sort of just trying to licking their wounds.
Yeah, I think they still don't see each other there.
As Vanoss kind of comes in as well, there were definitely three teams here. Looks like Deer Creek's on the run. Yeah, definitely Deer Creek running here as Jinx is kind of close on behind. Jinx was almost able to take them entirely out. Did Splat King go down? That's the question. No, all three members are still up and running.
And literally running, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Looks like Jinx has caught them.
Heavily taking quite a bit of damage, but may be able to kind of make it out. The Splat King kind of down, just on health at this point, totally down at that point. Rough spot for Deer Creek at the moment, running into Jinx twice like that. And I don't think they had the ability to really equip back up between...
It's like one down on Jinx now.
Those two.
Yeah.
Snowa down to just health. Nice. Squad eliminated. Unfortunately, Deer Creek's out. Jinx, however, will take their equipment and keep going. Ring closing in at this point. Jinx will be able to, if Jinx does take that zip line in, then they will be able to get, or if they just go into the next area, they should pass quite a few teams. Two teams very close to each other at this point would be...
Looks like Moore and Night Fury is Owasso, I think. So looks like we're getting But I think, again, they don't see each other. Looks like Owaso's kind of moving away.
That location interests me. We'll be well positioned there. Survey beacon there.
Mess over there.
We'll be well positioned there. Survey beacon here. Enemy in the distance. Targeting that spot.
That might be too loud, though. Could we turn that down so that the players can't hear that?
It's on a delay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
It's the Twitch stream.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
good.
you,
All
guys,
right.
you guys should be good.
Excellent. All right, we're back.
Sorry, we were trying to solve some audio issues there. Back into action as Jinx looks like they are in the action.
As is Moore. So Moore's battling out with Bing. Bing has height.
Actually, quite a few teams that are very, very close to each
Yeah.
other at the moment. Bing and
Moore's
Moore being
down.
close to each other and engaged in active fighting. We also seem to have almost a very close together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams very close to each other on the opposite side of the map, right to the end of the ring. They'll definitely be all forced in together at the same time. They may even come across this. Bing running back after Moore. Drago going in all by himself. Will he be punished for such drastic action? Will he be brought down? He's
as of
almost
right
brought
now.
down at this point. He's staying alive somehow as the rest of his team struggles to get there. He's solo bolo at the moment.
I can get back to him. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Heavenly engaged in some battle with 2 different teams as, well, one of them runs away and then runs right into Holdenville. So out of the frying pan into the fire for not Jinx, but Noble, actually.
Yeah.
Huh.
We have 3 teams out still. 7 in. Vinoss down to 1.
Several teams here kind of going at it. We have Northwest Classen very close. We have Holdenville right in on the action with Bing. We have Noble here, and then we also seem to have more, perhaps Heavenly from Jinx as well. If we can look at Jinx, they might even just have Heavenly left. I can't quite be sure.
No, they're
No, all
full.
3 of them,
Yeah.
but they are very close to the action here.
Looks like they're dropping in on someone.
Bing fighting now with Holdenville at the moment. Holdenville could have been eliminated from that. Well, not Holdenville. That was light purple, so that would be Owasso. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Noble back in the battle as well with Bing. It looks like taking some action here. Flowers looks like he's taking quite a bit of damage. Trying to put it back on Bing, which I don't see on the map anymore.
Yeah, it looks like I think they just eliminated Bing. Bing is out now. This is Owasso, so.
Down to how many teams
5
are left
teams,
now?
5 squads.
5 squads only. One being, I think, just 1 or 2 members left. Several different people being forced together at the moment.
And Jinx about to eliminate Northwest Class in here. We'll see if they're chasing down Dom or not.
The only team that had been really alone at this point had been Holdenville, but now they're very, very close to Noble. That could be kind of rough for them. However, being alone also means that you can't take very many kills. Kill count here at this point should be pretty high for some of the teams. Northwest Classen, Dom really trying to head out here. He's been able to sneak his way out, which is kind of a good thing in this map. Part of the verticality of this map means that you can kind of try to sneak your way around. Whole point here, he does see, well, he'd be aggressive all by himself. That would be very
His
brave.
banners are out, so I don't, it's going to be tough for him to get those banners at this point.
More fighting now going on between, looks like Noble and Northwest Klassen. Dom being the only one of the only members of the squad left, I believe.
That's correct.
Yes. Unfortunate for him to run into Noble at that point. However, the fighting seems to have stopped. He seems to have snuck his way away. With only 4 squads left, they're going to run into each other quite often at this point. The 4 squads that we have left are Noble, we have Holdenville, we have Jinx, and then we have Northwest Klassen, who's hanging on by the edge of their teeth. Dom trying to hold on for the rest of his team here. If I were him, I would just try to rat it out. But I don't know what the type of player he is. He may be very aggressive in this kind of format, so we'll have to see. Right now, probably the 2 closest teams to each other would be Holdenville and Noble. We'll have to see if they run into each other. The ring is about to finish up closing for this particular segment.
All right, here we go. They're pushing out on where Noble is. They don't know that Noble's in there, but we'll see how this plays out. Now, I couldn't tell where Noble is in here. Looks like they're still outside.
Noble's got the gear and the know-how.
All right, Holdenville sees them. They're above them. They're gonna drop in on them. I've got them marked. We've got 1 player down. Flowers is down.
However, for those that don't know, purple equipment is one of the better equipments in the game. Oh.
Looks like
Motion, the only one left alive for his team. Yeah. Could he be out? We'll have to see. He's quite the good player. He could pull this out and make a run for it.
And it looks like he did reverse. He just eliminated Holdenville, it looks like. That is exactly what's
Very
happening,
impressive.
So.
It's just him and 1 other team left on the map, I believe. 2 squads left only.
Yeah.
Heavenly being the one that you can spot.
See if he can get away here. Oh my goodness. 1v3 here. Let's see.
Using Wraith's mobility, he is able. He's unfortunately not able to, but Jinx does take them out. Jinx, who came in 5th last time, is the champion this time, so we'll have to see how that goes point-wise.
We'll try to get that pulled up real quick.
My ultimate is prepared. Do not slow me down.
We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. Here we are on World's Edge. What can you tell us about World's Edge?
World's Edge was the 2nd map developed for Apex Legends. Funny enough, whenever they released Apex Legends, they released it with just 1 map. However, and all the developers were on that map, and then they put 1 of their lead developers, they took only 1 developer off and put him on World's Edge to create a 2nd map. World's Edge has a POI close to the middle of it. A lot of people get forced through those POIs. There's a lot of breaking points in World's Edge where people are, there's not as many areas going around it like in the other maps. This is an older map, so there's not as much verticality in it. Teams are going to have to deal with the fact that they're going to be forced together on this map very quickly. It's bigger than the original map that was released, but it's not as big as the more recent maps that have been released.
I see.
So.
Excellent. Well, that's good. We like the slightly smaller maps. We're only running 10 teams, so. We've only run 6 at times. Yeah.
And that can be kind of rough when you only run 6.
Yeah,
but the more aggressive legends have been very useful on all the maps, but should be even more useful on these maps since they're smaller.
And I think the players and coaches have enjoyed this ALGS mode where everyone gets their own drop. So you're not really immediately dropping in on another team. You're not, everyone kind of gets a chance to loot, gets a chance to kind of get a little bit evened up before they go out and attack. So here we are. Looting has begun.
There are a few teams, even though we are sort of away from each other, there are a couple teams that are closer together. We have Northwest Classen, possibly close with...
It's like Noble.
Noble. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is Noble right there.
Yeah.
And also we have more, maybe close to a couple of teams. Deer Creek kind of getting a break at the moment, although they could be close to
They are
Jinx
surrounded.
again. That's kind of funny because
So-
that's what happened to them last time, unfortunately. Bing getting a little bit more of a break because they're kind of the furthest away from anyone, I believe, at the moment.
Looks like it.
Next ring's been announced. So if Deer Creek could kind of stay in their spot, they kind of seem to be going towards the edge of the map. They may not run into Jinx if they keep going that direction, but eventually when they come back into the ring, they will run back into the Jinx people from last time, the people that took the top spot.
That's tough to be by them twice in a row like this. I guess they weren't by them from the beginning last time, but they met them pretty early.
I actually believe they were, and then
Oh,
they
were
got
they?
chased around, and they were the first team eliminated from Jinx. They got Jinx down to just one player, but then they weren't able to. They sort of didn't finish off the job. It's important to make those things kind of happen. Down in the bottom of the map, we do have two teams close together. We have Owasso and Holdenville. They may not run into each other either. They probably haven't spotted each other or know that they're there, but they may run into each other at some point soon. Like I said, the POIs here, they kind of force people together. So we may see some points where if both people go in on the same POI, they're going to kind of be in together. Speaking of that, Bing seems to be very, very close to another team. That team being Vanoss. The fact they have definitely spotted each other at the moment. Our first fight of the day, so to speak. Not of the day, but of the match. Bing's, one of their players is unfortunately on the knockdown shield at the moment. Durago being almost out. Vanoss trying to be quick to eliminate them. Vanoss is one of those teams that can be hot or cold. Bing's unfortunately hitting them at the point where they're very hot. So will Vanoss be able to make this happen? Lifeline able to bring herself back up. Let's take this out. Vanoss has another one on their knockdown shield at the moment, so we'll have to see if they can pull this win out here. Two teams down, two teamers down for Bing. Squad eliminated. Yeah, Vanoss is can be a very tough team to deal with when they're on a streak. Unfortunately,
it's been the middle of the pack this season. It's been really interesting. They've been really close to each other, and could go in any direction.
Sometimes Vanoss is at the top, and sometimes they're at the bottom, and then they kind of end up in the middle after all that. So, but they really can be a hot team at moments. Now being very, very close to Jinx. Jinx kind of moved away from Deer Creek. They probably have not spotted. Oh, they may have spotted each other at the moment, actually. Jinx definitely has spotted Vanoss. Vanoss, having just taken a fight, may just have to run. Seems like they are running at the moment, and they should be able to get away.
Oh, Jinx is pursuing, though. Looks like he's just pinged, and they're diving in, so...
Which is just like Jinx. I mean, last time that's how they took out Deer Creek. So will Jinx go in and sort of try to be the champions here? They do go in right after Vanoss. Orion taking some heavy damage down to his knockdown shield. Again, like I said, Vanoss can really be hot sometimes. So they may not be the team to just sort of make mad.
Looks like they knocked... No, they didn't knock another one, but... Put some good damage on him.
Yeah, Vanoss able to kind of heal up their guy. You are able to carry a few more items this season, a few more healing items and whatnot, so... Oof, but just as Jinx kind of gets back on their feet, Orion gets knocked down again. Benjamin also taking some slight shield damage. They don't quite have the equipment to really handle a heavy fight.
They seem pretty spread out, too. I see Heavenly, it looks like it's pretty far away, and relatively, but it looks like he's going to...
Jinx
Make
decides
himself
they are
closer,
out.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Noble is being... Noble and Northwest Classen are in it at the moment as well. We'll have to see if we can get that fight on the screen for you guys.
There you go.
There's Northwest Classen. Noble trying to... Northwest Classen, one of them being trying to be recovered at the moment. And they do seem to be able to get away. Yeah. Will Noble pursue? They'll have to go around a little bit of an area here as Northwest Classen kind of comes back together. The other three teams at the bottom of the map are close to each other but have not yet... Well, actually, now at this point, we do have Holdenville and... U.S. Grant, I believe.
Okay.
Now perhaps also more. U.S. Grant and Holdenville had gotten in on the action together, but now it looks like perhaps it will be Owasso and Holdenville
Yeah.
that are very, very close to each other. Deer Creek still kind of stepped on the edge here. They were lucky to get away from Jinx. But let's see if we can find that Holdenville. Yes, they are definitely engaged with one another at this point. Kind of far away, trying to decide how to approach each other. Let's see, equipment-wise, they look pretty similar. Blue equipment all around. Lots of good, solid legends here.
Yeah, it looks like Owasso finally opened the door, took some shots, but they're being very timid, not really going for aggressive engagement here. And now Moore, so I'm just switching to the next closest team, so that means Moore is in the mix now too. Still not seeing them, or actually I think they have been, yeah, they are pinging them, so they see it. So we do have a third party here.
We also have a three-party going on. We had Jinx and Northwest Classen were hitting each other. Northwest Classen to flee that, but now Noble's on their tail. So perhaps that will also be quite the struggle. If this one lightens up, we'll have to show you that one. But everything kind of happening at once right now. Noble getting involved in a fight with Northwest Classen and Jinx all the way up at the top of the map.
We're going to switch to that one because they're still being timid over here. Alright.
Orion from Jinx taking quite a bit of damage. Unfortunate for them, they all kind of ran into each other at the same time. Northwest Classen has not had a second to let up since the start, since they kind of got into it with Noble at the beginning. Noble, very aggressive, will pursue. There's no question. Will pursue, seems like Northwest Classen at this point towards the ends of the map. Jinx, however, did seem, well, it was one of the Jinx players actually that needed to get out. Noble going to have to decide who they're going to go after at this point. Will they go after Northwest Classen or will they go after Jinx? While that's happening, we do have another scrap going on. It's going to be Holdenville and Owasso, perhaps, hitting each other down at the bottom of the map. Pinged each other. Moore also taking quite a bit of damage here. One of their players is knocked at the moment and now going to have to be recovered. But Lifeline really, really useful in these kinds of situations, able to get him out. Oh, Deer Creek may have their first. Well, actually, before we even say that, we're back to the action with Holdenville and is it Moore again? Yeah, they're still trying to get this resolved. This.
Doing some rooftop battling here.
See who's going to come out on top.
Oh, and it switched out.
Jinx also taking some heavy damage from Noble being pursued. Noble finally just decided that that's who they were going to go after. But looks like they will recover from their little scrabble here.
Not being as aggressive as they normally are. They are pushing in now, though, so we'll see.
I do believe Jinx will get away from that fight. There are 4 teams that are very, very close to each other down at the bottom. Almost 5 teams now. Will Deer Creek run into Jinx again? But at this point, it will be... Wow, we have Holdenville. Let's if we go Holdenville here, we can see Owasso going at it again. And we can also see U.S. Grant very close by, but they are running in the opposite direction, so they will not be involved in this scrap. Holdenville taking no prisoners here as they kind of are.
To win today.
Yeah, they are trying to go after it. They are going to keep on moving in on Moore, as also we have Moore moving in where Deer Creek is. This is quite the battle here. They don't even realize, I think, that they're all so close to each other. Owasso seems to take hits and just keep on going.
Holdenville definitely being aggressive here, trying to push. They want that high ground. I don't think they can get up there. Yeah,
not as climbable of a map as the other map is. The other map was specifically designed for many characters to be able to climb it. However, this map was not. One of the biggest things on this map is a nice... Oh, wait. At this point, we have one that's been knocked. Holdenville also taking quite a bit of damage here. We'll have to see who comes out. Wraith teleport there, or portal there. A second knockdown shield here for Owasso. Owasso's in a bit of trouble. Night Fury's the last one really left alive here. If they can eliminate Night Fury, they'll be done. But of course, as we saw in the last match, Night Fury was able to get out and get back in. Holdenville taking, again, just trying to be aggressive here as they can just sort of make it happen.
And now caught out of the...
Caught out of the ring. They've got to get back inside. That's the other unfortunate thing. If you're not watching that ring, then that can also affect the fights in like a major way.
They're still in pursuit of Night Fury, it looks like. They're still pinging where they think he is.
All the teams being kind of forced into a very small area at this point. Noble, although we do have, let's see, that's got to be Vanoss. Okay, yeah. If we go to Holdenville again, they seem to be taking more damage.
Yeah, they're on someone. I think it might be Deer Creek.
Enemy far off.
Because when I switch to closest team, it's Deer Creek. So
Okay, it might be. I don't know. Deer Creek's, yeah, Holdenville and Deer Creek are close to each other.
yeah.
With 9 squads left, only 1 squad having been eliminated. It's kind of crazy that the squads have lasted this long. 9 squads being forced in a
Still,
small
yeah.
area, going to be a very difficult time for all of them, especially ones that just only have 1 left. Speaking of that, there's Night Fury kind of being hunted down by Flowers. Motion also going in. Hopefully they'll be able to find him. They should be able to go after him at this point and really take that team out. I wouldn't be surprised if we went down to 8 squads here, but Night Fury has surprised us before in his ability to get out, but I think they've got him surrounded at this point.
Oh, he gets away for now, so we'll see if they can. There we go. That finished it right there. Okay,
So-
2 squads just out right in a row. So that was. It looks like maybe U.S. Grant as well.
Yes, US Grant's
and
out
lost
now.
on Bing, so.
That's right. That's what happens whenever you kind of get 9 squads left and they get forced into a small area. At this point, though, the only 2 teams that are very close to each other are Northwest Classen and,
Maybe Van Oss. Van Oss is in a fight.
yeah, Vanoss right now. Yeah, this is Northwest Classen and Vanoss. Both teams have some decent equipment, so we'll have to see who can take it out. Vanoss on a bit of a hot streak at the moment. Northwest Classen, a very, very consistently good team. Northwest Classen seems like they have decided that they are out. However, one of their players is kind of lagging behind. Oh, there he goes. Now he takes the out. They go outside of the ring. They'll have to run back to get in. Noble, considering possibly going after them, may have spotted them. They'll have to wait for them there. Yes, Noble now getting in a bit of a scrap, as well as Jinx and Holdenville very close to each other at the edge of the ring at the bottom, fighting each other out. Switch to Jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1
yeah.
player for Jinx down. I believe Holdenville may have 2 down. Yeah, 2 down at the moment. Only Fear left for Holdenville, and Jinx has 2. Jinx should have the advantage. They should probably push here to eliminate, but it doesn't look like they're going
I don't know
to.
if they know there's only 1 left. I mean, I feel like you know that in this game, correct? Like,
I don't know. They'd
Yeah.
and know, right?
Yeah.
They know when they knock them.
you would think so.
So back at the
I'm not
top
sure.
now, some more, quite a bit of stuff going on between. Well, we even have, we have another squad eliminated at this point. Deer Creek kind of running into Holdenville now. Deer Creek has had a little bit of time to kind of lick their wounds and get back into it. They'll be hopefully able to manage. Now they run into Jinx. Will they make it happen with Jinx? Heavenly taking some damage. Jinx was just involved in a fight a little while ago. Maybe down slightly on supplies. Can Deer Creek make it happen? Right next to
Getting a
them,
res here.
Holdenville's being kind of put in between both Jinx and Deer Creek, or both Deer Creek and Noble kind of gets out.
Splat's down. He's gonna revive though. Oh, he's he's out. They do have the beacon though for Splat, so if they can survive this, it's looking rough. If they can survive this though, they can bring him back.
Unfortunately, they are kind of surrounded by 2 other teams at the moment. Heavenly gets out. Jeb going to have to really do some magic here to make it happen. 6 squads left, with 3 of them incredibly close to each other. Deer Creek, Jinx, and Holdenville. Holdenville taking some damage at this point. Snow still is alive, but still knocked. Splat needs to be revived, and they're both within the ring, so that should not be too much of an issue, luckily for them. Noble's on the edge of the ring. Will have to come in. They may hit Jinx on the way, but Holdenville may try to see if they can just eliminate Deer Creek here.
I feel like Holdenville and Deer Creek are really close to each other, and they don't realize this.
However, at this point, Holdenville has been engaged by yet another team, so
Yes.
they may be taking it from the other side. And Deer Creek may be able to recover from this. Could it be that Moore helps them out here, or perhaps Vanoss? With six squads left, it's hard to tell who will be eliminated next. Jinx
Vanoss is
and
pushing.
Jinx and Noble also getting into it. Oh, Holdenville really having issues at the moment. Vanoss is just on the hunt, so to speak. While they are on the hunt, Deer Creek licks their wounds.
They really need to find elevation a different way to get up in there because that stairwell is not going to work.
Slightly difficult to do on this map, though, as it's one of the earlier maps that came out. Yeah, we may have a squad eliminated here soon.
Looks like Vanoss down to 1 now.
Now Deer Creek really taking it as well again. Really, well, down to 5 squads.
Yeah, that puts Holdenville out. So
Holdenville
Vanoss
was
just
out.
eliminated. So Vanoss on a tear this map.
They're on one of their hot streaks, and they're very close to Deer Creek, who is in a tough spot, having just brought back a team member. Oh, now they're going to have to go after it. Now they come into contact with Vanoss and more on the other side. Deer Creek kind of sandwiched in the middle of 2 tough teams. That's not a good position for anyone to be in. Well, Vanoss and Moore also spot each other.
And Jinx is working on. There's only 1 Noble player left in this building, and Jinx knows it, and so they are trying.
Motion, though, is probably the best player to be left alive if there is one.
For sure.
If he can make it out, then that does not mean Noble is out by any means.
Let's see what else is going on here. So Moore is working on Deer Creek, it looks like. Vanoss is hanging out.
Vanoss also taking a little bit of damage, though. Deer Creek just trying to fight the battle on 2 sides. Really rough squads. 4 squads left. Did Noble get eliminated?
It was Noble. Noble got eliminated, yes. So
Sometimes that happens. It's just really tough. Now Jinx gets involved. Now it's going to be Jinx, Vanoss, Moore, and Deer Creek all left with just 4 squads left. As the ring closes and forces them all together in a very small area. Deer Creek being in the center. Jinx being just coming off a win, but right against Vanoss. Jinx does not looks like they're in a good spot at the moment.
yeah,
Moore also kind of in a good spot.
yeah, they just took out Deer Creek and Vanoss, so
Just Jinx and Moore left.
and Moore kind of has the drop here on him, it looks like. They're gonna get up on top of this. Don't know if that's the right move or not. They fall off. Okay, it looks like Jinx is gonna push.
Moore having 1 person that's knocked. Jinx also has a person that's knocked.
It's anyone's match right here. Anyone's game. A lot of movement here. Tough to know who's gonna pull this out. We've got.
Jinx with 2, Moore back with 2.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Moore has. Well, no, now it looks like Jinx has the advantage health-wise.
Except now Jinx has got to do the recovery banner for 1. Looks like Jinx, I think, might. Well, so does Moore.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. Honestly, they're both in a tough spot.
They are.
Both might be a little less aggressive than maybe they should
It
be.
was a 1v1 and
Moore
took it.
wins. Let's go. All right, we'll tabulate the scores, put them on there, and then we'll see you for the 4th match.
We have our Apex champions.
This is going to be back to Broken Moon, so back to some more elevated play, some elevation play. So realize elevated play sounds like I'm saying they weren't playing well, but yeah, Noble kind of is letting people catch up there a little bit. They were out, I think, 5th, but they luckily usually as you know, usually they have a lot of eliminations. So with that come a lot of points, and so they usually make up for it even when they're 4th or 5th. So if you are wondering when you're looking at the standings, it's like, wait, how is that team? They were out the 5th out. Of course, Noble was 5th in the standings on that one, points-wise, so they didn't get as many eliminations as usual. But to me, it's an eliminations game. I would always play that game. And it's always a risk because you push a team, you might not win that. But because you can finish third or fourth a lot of times and still be first in the match if you've got a ton of eliminations.
Yeah, I totally agree. The points from placement seem to always be outshadowed by the aggressive play style and
Right.
getting kills. When we were in the scrimmage in the beginning, that seemed to be how Deer Creek was in the top
Right.
of the scrimmage, was just by being aggressive and going after things.
Yeah.
So hopefully we do, and I like to see aggressive teams rewarded. It's good gameplay to see interaction, I think, between the
Yeah.
teams. Makes for much more solid who can, instead of just who can kind of hide the best,
Right.
who can really interact and fight it out correctly.
Because anyone can rat it out and get 12 points. But yeah, I think the aggressive elimination game is the way to win this thing. So.
Loading
Yep.
in here now, we should have teams kind of spread out. Broken Moon, kind of known for, again, being a slightly larger map, has several zip rails. It's larger than World's Edge, so we may not see teams forced together like we did the last one. Has a little bit more verticality. Also known actually for being a very beautiful map. Was the, I think, only released a couple of years ago. Just has a lot of story behind it that you will never know because we won't ever focus on it. But it does, as we kind of see everyone just gearing up at the moment. There's lots of ways in and out of each one. Different POIs where this is one of the maps where the developers were focused on making sure everyone could climb and be able to get on top of things. Since Pathfinder got the nerf that took his zip lines down to only 30 seconds, being able to climb is going to be an important point here. Teams really just in the beginning just liking to kind of run around and gear up. Everyone tries to make sure that they're good to go, getting the correct gear for their teams. Can't really see which all champions that we have, or which legends, sorry, stuck on league talk here, which legends we have. But now we seem to have two teams that are already getting into it. Vanos and perhaps
Owasso.
Goldenville. Owasso, okay.
Owasso's going to dive in. It looks like they downed one, so they're diving on in.
Again, it would be unfortunate for Vanos if they were eliminated here. Sometimes they can be hot, though. They might be hot today. Coming back a little bit, Owasso maybe not able to pull this one out. Night Fury in a little bit of a hot spot.
Yeah,
but
it's not looking good for Owasso.
we have seen Night Fury get out of more difficult situations in the past. Will they make it out?
Yeah,
We
right.
will, only time will tell. Vanos, one knocked, two knocked now. As they level up, but two knocked for Owasso as well, as they're kind of stuck in a corner, reviving each other, each one licking their wounds, trying to make this happen. But we could have a squad
We
eliminated
did.
just here in the beginning.
So
Vanos
Vanos is
is out. Unfortunate for them. They were on a bit of a hot streak. Hopefully this will not affect their mental. They can come back just motivated and ready to go for the next game. This is not the only game left. That's some quick action here on a very large map, which is great news for us because we get to see more things happening. On the rest of the map, we're kind of spread out and jumping around a little bit. Deer Creek and Bing were close to each other, but at this point, they're all kind of far away. Everyone just trying to focus on making sure they have stuff and that they are able to get inside the next area when the ring decides to close. The quarantine zone being kind of where people seem to be going towards. At the moment, not that many teams. So while we're on that, let's talk about these teams a little bit. As you can see, these teams can go from being at the very bottom of the heap to the top very quickly. That's just how the points go. You can get a ton of points. In fact, one of the top games that Noble ever played, they got over 100 points in that game, which can move you from the bottom of the pack to the top in a game that doesn't have that many. So for us, even though we're in game 4, we can still see things change. We can't count anyone out yet. People can go from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top, or from the middle, wherever they're going to go. So as we see teams closing each other, I don't want you to count any particular team out on this large map. You can actually see on this different map the different areas. This map was actually kind of inspired by Heaven and Hell. And you're supposed to be able to see that as you go towards the top, you should see more beautiful landscape, and then as you go towards the bottom, you should see more inspired by the other side, so to speak. All kind of just, that's kind of what the developers were thinking whenever they did. Oh, as I say that, though, 2 teams get into it, kind of almost 3. We have Noble, Jinx, and Holdenville down there. Right now should be just Noble and Jinx. But Noble almost backs off. Odd for Noble, as Jinx kind of gets into it with them.
They may know it's a third-party situation, and they don't want to...
Or they may just be going after Holdenville at this point. They do seem to be getting into it with Holdenville. Trying to take out child support here, which is just hilarious. Some of these names are just hilarious. We see Jinx coming in on this as well. 3 teams incredibly close to each other. I'm sure they know that they're all there as Jinx tries to shoot at, I can't tell if that's Noble or Holdenville on their screen, but definitely trying to work this out. As far as equipment goes, neither one of them has had enough time to get tons of good equipment. In fact, Holdenville is on white equipment at this point. They are going to be in a rough spot. Jinx at least has blue and a little bit of purple. Holdenville is just kind of in a tough spot there. All 3 teams, and Deer Creek might even come out at them too. We'll have to see. They are really getting into it. 2 teams on the top of the ladder here, or the...
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's whole. No, I don't know.
Child support being taken down. Noble kind of, man, it's really just 3 that are going
Noble
at
kind of picking at it from a third-party perspective. It's really Jinx and Holdenville, which is really hard to switch to these teams because they're
so close to each other.
Yeah.
Deer Creek also close, and at this point, Moore very close as well. However, Holdenville seems to get out with the, maybe perhaps not, as Beer gets put down. Yep. Jinx
that's actually more down them.
Oh, that's right, because they ran into Moore.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that will be a squad eliminated.
Not quite yet. There's still one.
There was a squad eliminated at the top.
Oh no, that was Van Noss earlier.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My.
No, you're good. So we're still waiting. Holdenville's. Oh, it looked like.
Will Fear be able to make it out alive? That is the current question. He is running for his life and the lives of his 2 teammates, which he carries with him. Or he only has even recovered those banners. I don't think so. Yeah. So he will have to go back in and get those if he's going to have a team at all, unless he's going to try to rat it out the rest of the time, which would be very difficult. However, at the top of the map, we do have a second kind of thing going on between Northwest Classen and Holdenville. No, not Northwest Classen and, Holdenville at the top of the map.
It looks like Holdenville is eliminated, so by more.
Unfortunate for them.
So what do we have here? Is it Owasso?
Oh, I may just have the colors from last time still in there. Deer Creek also, there are 3 teams kind of close to each other at this point. Bing, Deer Creek, and Jinx.
Jinx is pushing in on Deer Creek.
Trying to take it down. They have Splat King's been knocked. At this point, it looks really bad for Deer Creek. They're in a really rough spot. Yeah. I would be surprised if Splat King can make it out alive. He has pulled out some miracles in the past. But he's not on a character that can. Yep, that's unfortunate. They are the 3rd team, I think, eliminated. We're down to 7 squads at this point. Squads getting eliminated more quickly at this point as these teams become more aggressive on this map that rewards aggression, and this format which also rewards aggression. Now we have Noble very close to Bing. They should have seen each other. Yes, Noble being knocked. One of their players being knocked. Flowers down, but 2 on Bing down. If Noble's just a little bit aggressive here, they should be able to take them out and get the 7th squad eliminated. They're trying to be cautiously optimistic, I would say, and go in cautiously aggressive, perhaps is the correct term, as they go in and really knock this down. There's only 1 left, I believe, on the Bing side. He is running for his life. As I believe he makes it out.
Looks like it.
Now Noble and now Moore perhaps coming into contact with...
Jinx is the closest team to Noble. Okay, now Moore as well. So.
Yeah, Moore and Jinx really going at it at the moment. Let's see. Let's see what this fight brings, as Jinx has all 3 of their players up and some purple equipment here, while we have Moore with all blue, but perhaps in a slightly better situation on health. Hard to say. We'll just have to see who can pull this one out, who has the better approach here. All teams within the ring, no one's going to have to move for that, but they are definitely looking at each other almost...
Yeah, it looks like they're splitting up and trying to take them from different sides. They're flanking, so we'll see if it works.
More
Not
in.
getting a hit there. Moore has that elevation. They're having so Jinx is struggling to get a hit. Well placed grenade there. Maybe it's a thermal. I don't know what they call them.
Well, they do
But,
have grenades. I think that there's a few legends that can carry extra grenades. In
Yeah.
fact, some of the better legends in this season. Oh, here they are now. They're very close together, being brought up by the verticality of this. Jinx was able to get up to the top.
Yeah.
Will they be able to eliminate the squad? Moore is down to just one left that's not knocked down as they try to just take out the rest of them. Moore is in a really rough spot. Be surprised they can make it
Yeah,
out, and they are eliminated. That's Jinx is a very consistent team, can take teams out. 6 squads left. Now they're actually very, very close to Holdenville, so that might be another spot. Meanwhile, Noble seems to be in
after
contested with
Bing.
U.S. Grant, I
But
believe.
it's Bing, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Okay.
He's chasing down their last player, so they're chasing down the. Here we go. This might be it for Bing right here, and it is.
And there's
so.
Bing. And they may come up against U.S. Grant in the next area. Now only 5 squads left.
Yeah.
Quickly coming to, we may see a champion here more quickly. This is kind of a game that's going faster than the others, don't you think?
I think so. Yeah, this is going a lot faster.
We do have several teams getting kind of pushed together. The rings closing in. We have the next ring announced. All teams seem to be kind of safe at the moment, except for perhaps U.S. Grant and Noble. U.S. Grant, kind of another one of those teams that you don't want to count out, but can be in a rough spot.
They are
This would be rough for
quickly-
them. They're kind of unfortunately melting in the face of a couple really good players on Noble, and having gotten equipment from having eliminated a few other
U.S.
squads.
Grant is eliminated.
U.S. Grant gets eliminated as the 5th squad eliminated. And now we have 4 teams that are fairly far apart from each other. Shouldn't see any action for a few seconds here, although we may have Jinx and Holdenville that are getting close to each other at the moment. Jinx having a few eliminations, Holdenville does as well. Holdenville, Owasso seems to have a little bit less loot perhaps than the others. I don't think we've seen them come into contact with the other teams as much. Really, who we haven't seen come into contact with a ton of the other teams is Northwest Classen.
Yeah, Northwest Classen, they're sitting at no eliminations, period. So that's going to hurt them here in the end. They're going to have to get that number 1 spot to really make this game worth it, I feel like. For
Also
them.
makes it difficult for them whenever they want the equipment off the other teams. But at the
Right.
moment, Holdenville and Jinx are kind of fighting it out.
Owasso
Owasso
as
as well. 3 teams situation. Owasso really being pulled in
Yeah, this is-
rough spot. Jinx looks like they will definitely get the eliminations here. However, one of their team members is almost knocked. What will we see happen here? And Noble arrives on the scene to what looks like a bloodbath. Will they be able to just clean it up and eliminate 3 teams? I wouldn't be surprised. 3 squads left only, so it's just...
It'd be a good time to hit Jinx for
Yep,
Noble.
Noble is being very aggressive, going after Jinx. They are taking advantage of the situation. They have gotten rid of Flower's shields and Heavenly shields.
So it's 2v1 right now, so will Orion escape? That's the question.
He doesn't have very far he can go, though, so even if he does escape, 2 of them escape, but they escape to outside of the ring, so that would be really tough for them to get back in. Now, whenever they go back in, they're right in the middle of it. And we also have Northwest Classen finally getting in on some action here. It'll probably just be them and either Noble or Jinx at the moment.
Owasso's been eliminated as well.
Yes, we only
They're
have 3
fourth out.
squads left.
So Jinx still needs to get their banners. Northwest Classen's still in blue. One's in purple. Dom's in purple, so that's good. Noble's just way outmatching them in gear right now, though.
That is kind of something that you see whenever you aren't able to get involved in as many fights. It's unfortunate. Sometimes that's not even up to you.
Yeah.
But
They could have had a bad drop coming in. Looks like... Oh, I couldn't tell if he got hurt or not. But yeah, so far, everybody's just... I mean, Jinx looks like they're going to, unless they can get their banners, they're going to rat it out. Looks like they're going to try and sneak in there to get their banners, though. They don't know if Noble's still hanging out or not. We know the Noble's not hanging out, so Jinx may still be in this.
With 3 squads left, sometimes you can rat it out for a little while. And
Yeah.
if the other 2 teams get into a scrappy fight, you may be able to come out the winner if you're patient enough.
Yeah.
And this game, and Jinx has been so far patient enough to where they have kills, so it wouldn't be the worst thing for them to kind of.
He's getting them in right now.
And that's
so.
what that's the great news. Hopefully they can get themselves geared up as well. Get them back in it.
Okay, so Noble's crashing in on this right now. So
Yeah, I was
see
going
if
to
they
say
can-
Northwest Clawson is still out of the action.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for them in several different ways, but they seem to kind of maybe want to play that style in this particular moment. All 3 will be forced together very shortly, though. As this ring closes, another ring will be announced.
Okay, they're trying to follow him to the drop point. This is tough for Jinx right here, having to fight right out of the ship. Orion's already downed. Which Orion was the one that was left, so...
Yeah, if he was the one that... If the other 2 are the ones that are up now, they have
Yeah.
their only their teammate to thank, but...
Yeah. They did come back in with purple gear, though, at least. So
yeah,
that's gonna help,
that's helpful.
We'll see if Noble's pursuing. It looks like they are. Well, they might run into Northwest Class in here first, though. We'll see.
Yeah, all 3 teams very close to each other.
Yeah.
It will have to be... Jinx will have to kind of hide and lick their wounds for a few minutes, I would assume, as they kind of get themselves back together. Heavenly being taken out, at least knocked. Down to... Actually, just down to health, not actually knocked yet.
Yep.
And there we go. Flowers is taking quite a bit of damage. Are they in it with Northwest? Well, yeah, they are. They're with
Northwest
Northwest
Class is
Clawson.
third partying this.
Kind of coming in, seeing and taking advantage of this situation where 2 teams were already at it. This map not known
Very
for
fortunate for Jinx here that
Noble
gets
Northwest
served,
Clawson. Yeah, that Northwest Clawson kind of distracts Noble for a second while Jinx
But-
gets to.
Noble's good and recovered though, so
Yeah, they'll have to
Didn't-
fight off Northwest Clawson before they can take care of the
Yeah.
rest of the Jinx squad.
it looks like Momentum's doing just that. They're going after. Well, maybe not. They took a right down to where the Jinx was. So we'll see.
It's such a small map here,
It
though,
is,
that
yeah.
that at this point it would be difficult for anybody to hide anywhere. Jinx is trying their best as they run for their lives. Just 1 member left, but Noble really, really doing their best to just sort of go after them wherever they go. And when Jinx runs out of the 1, they run into Northwest
Yeah.
Clawson, and there they go. Northwest Clawson is able to eliminate
And that
that
was
1
the smart.
player.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like that was the play for Northwest Classic because now they're gonna come out with just and they didn't get the elimination for that. So
Was it?
so I guess
Well, it must have been
been
Capybara that got him from across the field.
It
When
must
they
have been,
are
yeah.
engaging with each other across this little lake, this little
Yeah.
water area over here. We'll have to see who can pull this out. Northwest Custom probably doesn't have quite as good of gear as Noble does at the moment.
No, they've looted up a little better now, but yeah, they're still at a disadvantage here.
And of course, with all 3 members of Noble up and about, we would expect them to win, but I wouldn't count Northwest Clawson out as, but however, at this point, one of them is down. Noble having 1 player that's just down to health. The lifeline, though, could possibly bring herself up, able to heal. Momentum also kind of in a rough spot here, knocked. If they are able to get Momentum down, then they could be the top dogs here at the end.
We'll see if Flowers can actually pull this out this time. I don't know.
A lot of pressure on the 3rd teammate here for Noble, as the other 2 kind of trying to just survive. And Flowers is going to have to kind of make this happen, not even playing a support legend as he's taken down to just a little bit of health trying to jump, and that is it. Northwest Clawson is the champions. The question will be, after we rack up kills, will they be the top? That's going to be a tough ask, I think.
Yeah, what would that be? Like maybe... So 14 points for Northwest Classen. I don't know if that's going to be enough to top the number of eliminations that Noble had with their 2nd place. So yeah, that was...
It would be a tough ask, I believe.
That's 10 points. That's 20... Well, not 20, yeah. That's 10 points that Noble has on top of their placement. So,
but still, quite an accomplishment by Northwest Classen to be the champions in this lobby. Did a great job of taking advantage of situations that they found themselves in. They say luck is preparation and timing.
Yep.
So that's definitely what Northwest Classen is dealing with at the moment.
We're definitely going to see them rise up in the rankings after this. So with that, we'll get some scores up on the screen for you, and we will be right back.
With our final game, I believe.
That's correct. Final game on World's Edge. Five. This is going to determine it. Still anyone's game in that top 3, it looks like. all it takes is one. In the first game today, Jinx was out like second team, I think. So it can happen to anyone in this game, and so if either of those top 3 teams currently get into that unfortunate situation, it's opened up for someone else.
Yeah, I really think that Apex is an interesting game because so many of the teams can jump around so fast.
Right.
All it takes is for one team to kind of go on a hot streak, gain some equipment, get some good kills, and then the whole thing is kind of blown out of the water and everything's kind of shaken up.
Right.
So we've seen some shakeups even in these past 2 games. We'll have to see who comes out on top this time. But here we are. We're loading in. We'll have to see where people get. Some things are kind of random as we kind of grab legends here. Everyone getting to pick their 3 legends. We will unfortunately not be able to see that part.
We can kind of see that part, and that's why we play 5 games, due to what you were saying. You play 5 games because anything can happen in one game. If it was over in that first match, Jinx was in second place. They were second to last place. So, but everything's bearing true. As a matter of fact, you can even see that how the top 4 right now are the top 4 that came in today. So, so it just there's more consistency when you can run more games.
Yeah.
So.
That's one thing that I've really appreciated about how OESL has done this is that it feels like some of the top things have been rather consistent. Some things have changed, but that can be just patches, but the overall skill seems to kind of go through. As we load in here to World's Edge, which is again a smaller of the maps, we may see teams kind of forced together a little faster here. Perhaps Moore and Jinx, will they be the first to fight? Will it be Holdenville and Noble? It could be, as we saw a little bit of some sort of scrap there for a second. Sorry about that. Now I'm back. We do seem to have teams just sort of gearing up at the moment, just trying to make sure they have the gear available to them. We'll watch Jinx here as they kind of run through that and try to get as much gear as they can. Different players and different styles like different guns, so they may appreciate and run through different ones as they get stuff. Also, the different amounts that they can hold can be dependent upon the legend as well for different types of equipment or what they may prioritize. So we'll just see mostly here people gearing up and running across the map.
Apologies for that. So we're working out something for hopefully potentially being able to continue this stream and have some Fortnite going on later, but it's going to depend on some technical setup if we can do that or not. Fortnite's a more challenging game to stream as they don't have a dedicated spectator mode for a lot of the game modes. So, but anyway, so yeah, back in on this. Sorry to leave you alone here.
So. You're okay. Now that it's my 3rd time casting or 5th time casting a game, I feel a little more comfortable with it. Appreciate all of you guys for sticking with us through this whole thing as we're kind of newer to casting here on this casting side.
Yeah.
So appreciate your understanding there.
So do we have any kind of action shaping up here?
Not really. We've just had teams pretty much gearing up, but the way this map is structured, they'll definitely have to come into contact with each other soon. And they'll have to take those routes to face each other as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 2 minutes, if not less, we saw some sort of action here. Different teams coming into this at different points, really kind of shaking things up. We saw, for instance, the team that was eliminated first this last match, Vanoss, actually had been on a hot streak for the time before. So we'll just have to see who surprises us, who kind of starts to take it out. For instance, here we have Bing and looks like, is that Holdenville? That are very close to each other, almost surrounded by each other in a fight now. This is our first This is our first fight of this match, of this map.
Child support's down.
Will Bing be able to take a quick Holdenville out? Holdenville, one of those surprises in the top 4 that we've seen. If Holdenville gets eliminated here, then they could be in a rough spot for the positioning. Bing, however, could take a few more points here. Definitely having no mercy, running after this Holdenville team. Oh, and Noble in on this action as well as Noble comes in. And that's one squad that's possibly down here. Not quite yet, but almost. Noble coming in on the scene of almost like a bloodbath here. trying to take advantage of what they find, third-partying the situation. Fighting now with Bing, it looks like, as Holdenville was able to escape. So Holdenville got out of that situation, but Bing was left. And then when Noble came in, they kind of struck gold as
they have one eliminated now. So looks like more got eliminated.
There, now we're down to that. Yeah. So 9 squads left only. Unfortunately for more, they probably didn't even have any kills until they had gotten eliminated.
Yeah, I don't believe so. No, they had none. So unfortunately, that kind of is going to leave more out of the top 3 for today. But
yeah, the top 3 are the big ones in contention for today. Yeah. Will we see that Noble keeps taking it? Noble again going after Bing, trying to go after those kills, securing their spot in the top number 1.
This is kind of Noble's game on this. I see this with the last map of the day. They seem to go in aggressive from start to finish. Like, I couldn't even switch off of them in the last championship game in the semifinal because they just kept diving on team after team. So
such a great strategy, honestly, not only in this particular meta for Apex, but also for this particular way that we gather points for OESL and the way that we value points. Being also kind of being split here. They have Drago almost behind Noble, and only 2 of them, while Blah is trying to run the other direction. And he may run into Holdenville, or not Holden. I'm not sure who's the closer one there. Yeah. But he may run into another team as he runs off. It looks like Noble may have spotted Drago here. Yeah. Could he be knocked and then eliminated? I don't even know which one of them has the banner.
I'm not sure. I don't think either do. Well, maybe they do, yeah. But
Drago knocked at this point. Like. Yeah, Blah's going to be... Blah is out of it, though. Actually, there's others that are closer to Noble than just that. We have possibly Owasso closer.
Yeah, it looks like Owasso's coming in on this, so they're going to dive on Noble here and see what Noble does.
Night Fury taking a little bit of damage here. Or no, Night Fury being the one to give out the damage, actually, while Momentum taking some of that damage. If they could eliminate Momentum, that would be a huge swing for every other team in the lobby. What will we see here as we go through this fight?
Pretty much. I don't like them hanging out in the open, but it looks like they're...
All of this, while also Deer Creek and Jenks going at it, Jevmos being... separated from the rest of his team. He's trying to get back together with Snowa and Splat King. He is downed at this point. If he doesn't get there soon, Heavenly is taking a little bit of damage. That's again Jinx versus Deer Creek. Deer Creek, 2 of them down. This could be it for Deer Creek in the final match of the season here at State.
That is it for
Deer Creek, the second squad eliminated. Not great, but there are 2 seniors on Deer Creek's team, so that could be it for them, unfortunately. Jinx, however, will take advantage of that and go after their equipment. Meanwhile, we have Bing back in the action with possibly, is it Vanos there?
Maybe, let's see. I don't see Vanos. Yeah, well, yeah, Bing's dropping. Yeah, it's Bing and Vanos. So, which I don't even know if Bing noticed. They just kind of hopped inside, and it looks like Bing's probably going to get eliminated here because they didn't even know Vanos was near. Okay, let's see if they find this last player. See if they find Toast.
Holdenville also very, very close. It could be that Vanos gets.
Ooh, got himself
distracted. Oh man, that's a rough place to be. And with that, another squad is eliminated. We are down to 7 squads left. I think I even missed a squad being eliminated there.
I believe so. Let's see. We have Being Deer. No, we didn't miss any. So,
okay, that's good.
Our kill leader right now is Benny Maru.
Wait, who was this first squad? There was 1 squad eliminated at the beginning, right? There was more. Okay, yeah. So more than Deer Creek then. Bing, Holdenville still in it with Vanos. Oh, Owasso. That's who it is. Yeah, my apologies. Owasso in it with Vanos, who may have just taken their licks from a slightly beat up Bing team, but still have taken some damage. There's not enough equipment to really negate that fact as they try to shield back up, quickly use their supports to try to stave off the fight for a second while they lick their wounds. However, I don't know that they're going to be able to hold this off, as Holdenville just very aggressive here.
There's Owasso.
Owasso. I keep saying Holdenville. But Owasso being incredibly aggressive.
Here. They're close, so it looks like Owasso, did they finish them off?
Looks like Vanoss is out. Now only 6 squads left. Not surprising to me that we're getting squads eliminated at this kind of pace on this map. Since this map is a little bit smaller than the last one that we saw, and the POIs tend to kind of force people together and not allow for that much verticality. At this point, though, the closest teams that we see to each other could be Noble, and they do get into a fight with Northwest Classen. Noble could take out Northwest Classen, that would be a huge advantage for them. Northwest Classen being a fairly consistent team throughout the process, allowing them to get some kills on a pretty good team. And then could they go on a rampage? However, Jinx might third party this as they come in closer from the outside. They have 2 members with purple and 1 with blue. Noble still distracted by Northwest Classen, may not see Jinx as easily. However, at this point, they've got to see them. One team member Flowers still at this point has no shield, but not yet quite knocked. Capybara knocked at this point. Jinx has kind of ran into it, but may not have been super prepared, because although I will say that Capybara is definitely down, and the ring is closing, putting all this pressure on that particular fight, as Jinx decided that it was too much for them and has headed out. Noble will grab it as well. However, we see Holdenville getting into it at the moment with Noble, I believe.
Maybe. Seems like Noble's kind of run away, but
now Northwest Classen stuck way outside the loop, trying to run back in. Only two of their team members left. They're trying to make it back in, but they are in a rough spot.
And they're running right into a wall. There's not really a way, as this ring closes off. I don't know what their strategy for getting through is, unless they have a rift or something they can run. Maybe, I don't know.
They unfortunately, they are going to have to take the long way around. They do not have a great way through. It's a rough spot for them to be sure. They had to get out when they were facing that 3 kind of third party situation.
They did find a way into a tunnel over here, so
okay. There aren't any teams around them, so but they're able to kind of take that route. They won't run into anyone. In fact, our closest seem to be U.S. Grant and Owasso, I believe. However, right as I say that, Jinx and Noble get right back into it. Noble, of course, being incredibly aggressive. They will pursue, and we do have Holdenville coming around the side. They may third party this if they get that close. However, back in the action, we see that one of the teams has a member already down. Noble has the advantage between Noble and Jinx. However, both teams kind of split, and they may have called it off for now. The 2 teams that are closest to each other at this point, and possibly getting into it, are U.S. Grant and Holdenville.
U.S. Grant down a player.
Yeah, only 2 team members left for U.S. Grant, and very, very close to Noble. If they go up instead of down, they are going to run into some tough spot. Jinx going into the same compound. Will Jinx run into Holdenville? Oh, Noble gets a hand and sees Blitz. Screaming Capybara and Blitz get into it. Who will go down first? We see Screaming Capybara definitely taking absolutely no damage here. Quickly annihilating the enemy team. And that is, unfortunately, only 1 team member left for U.S. Grant as he hides behind a rock and tries to stay out. Noble decides that that's enough for them. They see Holdenville with just Night Fury left again as he runs off to try to get away. Will they just run in and try to take care of Jinx? Night Fury about to run into the U.S. Grant member as he's trying to lick his wounds. The U.S. Grant member trying to lick his wounds. 6 squads left, 2 of them with just 1 member. Incredible little thing here. And we have Noble and Jinx fighting it out inside the compound, which causes Flowers to come back in. He currently had been distracted by possibly killing off 2 different squads. But now we have some good fight here. Will the fact that Noble only had 2 initially at their fight cause them an issue? Flowers taking tons of damage. Screaming Capybara also quite down. Momentum actually still doing very well. So, of course, if we see Momentum up, we never count Noble out. Recovery banner now for Capybara. The question will be, will they be able to... Flowers back on his feet.
Yeah, looks like Flowers got away as well, so...
And Jinx looks like they have taken this compound, and as Noble runs off, rough spot for Noble as they had kind of been separated by the fact that they were distracted at the moment as U.S. Grant tries to bring its members back. Night Fury also bringing its members, trying to go to where it can bring its members back as well. Rough spot right outside where Jinx is taking cover. Holdenville spotting someone. Oh, it's probably Night Fury.
Yeah, I think it's a Wasso. Looks like they kind of get away.
However, Jinx now in a heavy fight. Noble and there goes U.S. Grant. Jinx took them out as they were trying to get their team members back online. Noble and Northwest Classen got into it for a second. Northwest Classen being slightly more aggressive this game. Both are down to only 2 team members at the moment.
Right.
But we know that it could be anyone's game. All 4 of these are very close to each other. And unfortunately, for Owasso, they're being, when they run away from Jinx, they run into Holdenville and perhaps Noble as well. It is not a good spot. They were almost better off just being with Jinx. Northwest Classen also trying to search a way to bring back their last member. Noble being engaged on by Jinx here. Can Jinx take advantage of the fact that 3 of these, all 4 squads are very close together at this point? It's almost just, all 5 squads actually, very close together at this point. Really just any man's game.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what it looks like. Jinx is peeking here, trying to get a pick. But I think that was on child support. That was on Holdenville, so...
Yeah, Holdenville, Jinx, and finally Night Fury was able to bring his team back. So Holdenville, Jinx, and Owasso with 3, Northwest Classen with 2, as well as Noble with 2. Noble not even...
Yeah.
There they go. They finally have figured out that Northwest Classen is there, shooting at Lopez.
Yeah, it looks like they've dialed down the aggression now, being down a player. Noble has. I'm trying to see... Here's Holdenville taking some shots.
Jinx goes across. We'll actually see Northwest Classen when they do so. However, at the moment we have Owasso, Noble, and Holdenville fighting it out. All three squads very close together. I believe Momentum could take Momentum kind of runs off, leaving his teammate alone. His teammate will be surrounded. Although it looks like Owasso may be distracted by the fact that Jinx is on one side and Holdenville on the other. Flowers also makes it out. They run off. They will run into part of the Northwest Classen squad. But of course, Northwest Classen's just slightly separated here.
Yeah, this is just like the last World's Edge map. This is really hard to follow because so many people are in it. I don't think Child Support's going to make it. They're outside the ring, so...
At this point, it really is Jinx, Owasso, and Holdenville kind of battling it out. Northwest Classen and Noble staying out of it, although Noble gets into it at this point.
Yeah, Owasso's been... Oh, yeah. Noble is down 1 Jinx player.
Northwest Classen, though, they seem to be just sort of watching to see who comes out of top. Again, questionable in my personal opinion in terms of whether they are able to get kills.
Yeah.
But they will be able to get a higher spot if they sort of wait this out. So the question is which one will end up being better. Is that Owasso, I believe? No, is it Owasso or Holdenville left? Owasso's left. Owasso. Now Northwest Classen cannot stay out of the action as Jinx quickly starts to eliminate them. They are down to just 1 team member, Northwest Classen, and that team member is caught. Dom is in a really rough spot.
Yeah, but he took out that player, so was that another team member?
That is Jinx eliminated, I believe. Now it's just down to Northwest Classen.
Oh man, that's unfortunate for Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx was looking for the number 2 spot. Could
Right.
they have lost it with that? That's going to be the question after we... But they've gotten a few kills, I believe, in this particular game. So
yeah, that was huge for Northwest Classen, though they only had the 1 kill. So tough to know.
Oh, he brings his teammates back. Now's the time to be aggressive, Northwest Classen.
Yeah. Let's see. Noble's still in it. Northwest Classen and Owasso. It looks like Noble and Owasso are fighting it out right now.
Yeah, Noble trying to stay a little bit more on the outside as Owasso and Northwest Classen now engage. Again, Noble's been fairly aggressive this whole time, so they can take a little bit of time to take a little bit of a breather here, but they are not. Momentum goes in and attacks Holdenville. Northwest Classen trying to figure out which one do they want to attack. If it was me, I might attack Noble while they are down a team member and being attacked also by Holdenville.
Yeah, and at this point, I don't even know if they know they're down a team member since they didn't take that team member out. But
oh, that's true.
Flowers is down now, so see if he can.
Momentum, Momentum, the last one alive. We'll have to see.
Using that shield. Okay, so Flowers is completely out now. So
Northwest Classen now taking advantage. They are going to go after, I believe, Holdenville at this point because they have to.
Well, yeah, they're pushing.
I mean, Owasso.
The final Noble player here, so. Okay, it was a good move for escaping, but I don't think he's going to get out of this.
He's in a really rough spot. He
Yeah,
can't go very far
actually-
because of the ring.
Oh, and they're out third, so let's hope the eliminations are enough, because Northwest Classen could pass them on this.
Northwest Classen now they will either get eliminations or they will be eliminated. Northwest Classen being the
Classen's
champions.
champion.
They are the #1 team at this point
That could
for
have been
that
enough.
particular round. We'll have to see how that puts them in the overall standings. We'll put the overall standings up here. Thank you so much for listening. We will try to get the Fortnite game up and running if possible. And if we can't, then thank you so much for tuning into our stream today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That's awesome. All right.